data that I will share with you. So basically, I'm just going to revise on Word. So let's start basic off saying the following. You need to be able to rename folders. Okay, you renaming by right clicking and saying you need to rename, and then you put in the name. Let's say I've asked for your name and surname. You'll just put it in there, and then you will leave it as is. Okay, so that's how you will rename, and that will also then obviously be the same for all the other Excel and PowerPoints. So let's open up that Word which we've just saved, and let's see and look at the following revision parts that you've maybe forgot. So the first things I want to run through is your home button. Okay, so paste obviously your format painter, etc. Then the next one there, that is font. The font setting is your obviously your font type. Okay, so you will, let's say I ask you to change that title to giving you the name to Arial, let's say just normal Arial or Castellar, then you will go and change it there. Okay, there's the size of the font. In other words, let's change it to 16, and you can bold something there, you can make it italics, or you can underline it even. That is how you use those tools given to you in the font toolbar. Okay, very important that you go through these, that you understand. So you obviously need to highlight those texts that need to be either bold or underlined, etc. Okay, then we can carry on to the next part, which is your basic. If I want, let's say I want this person's name to go from small cap, so lowercase, to uppercase, I can change it there. Can you see it's changed literally from everything being lowercase to uppercase? Okay, so that's what that means. There's your highlight function. So let's say this was highlighted in the text and I'm asking you to take it off. You are going to highlight it again and just say no color. Okay, and then that's the font color. So let's say I want that whole paragraph to be changed into green. I would go there and I would change it into green. Okay, the next section there is paragraph. So all these settings, you'll see there's a little gray line separating each of these 4 toolbars that you have along the home ribbon. So in here you get your bullets and numbering. So that is where you will put in your bullets, your numbering, your tab. If you use multi-level numbering, you will use those tabs. Okay, your paragraph marker, which is very important, although I know it does irritate some of my students, Meneer Engelbrecht and so forth. Okay, and then these are the paragraph settings, very important. You can either, now let's just look at this paragraph. I'm highlighting it. You can left align, you can center align, you can right align. Can you see the difference? And you can also justify. Okay. So justification also refers, sometimes you refer to fully justified. And that's the same thing as justification. Remember, you can hover over each one of those and it will give you the appropriate function of that button. Okay, then line spacing. Now it's very important that you understand that those line spaces are there for shortcuts, but normally you have to go in and say you want to add some spaces. Okay, so you will go into your settings and you will then be able to either change the indentation. In other words, do you want your paragraph to start at 1 centimeter? Okay, so I'm going to set it so that you can see how it's changed. Can you see it's been indented there? If I can just put on my ruler under the view ribbon, you will see there it's under 1 centimeter. That's how it's indented. Okay. Then the other indentation or spacing that you need to do is, remember, you need to go back to home to get that. And then you will go into that. And then the other thing they like asking is that your spacing sometimes be, the first line must be, let's say, at a certain, let's say, indented at 2 centimeters. Then you will go and do it like that. Can you see then each first line of a paragraph? That's why your paragraph markers is so important, because if there wasn't a paragraph separator, in other words, there was no enter being clicked there, then the computer or the word processing program wouldn't have seen these as two different paragraphs. So that's why that line is indented and that line, because it basically is going to indent both of those first lines. Okay, so that's the first one. And then if you want something to be indented as okay, we'll get to the hanging now. I'll first insert some bullets to show you. Okay, so remember, this is very important that you first highlight whatever you need to be indented, or that needs to be indented, and then you are going to go and look for it there. There is where you also do your spacing before and after. So before means everything before that paragraph there in the background, and everything then after that will be set at that specific space. Okay, and then let's quickly look at inserting some bullets. Okay, so I'm going to look for some bullets. Let's say there was no bullets over there. Okay, I'm going to delete all of those so that we can change it from the start. Okay, and I'm asking you to put in bullets. Okay, then you will obviously highlight all of those. You will go into bullets and you will choose the appropriate bullet. Let's say I'm asking you for it to be a mark, or let's say I want you to actually use a picture. Then you will go into define new bullet. You will either look for the symbol given to you, or like the previous test, I've asked you to create a Wimbledon ball for me. I've used that tennis ball. So you'll go into picture and you'll say you want to work offline, because it will already be there for you. And then you will go into, I'm just looking for that picture. I'm just going to use, let's say we're using the data. Let's say we want the heart as a bullet, and we say insert, and can you see now the bullet has been changed into the picture that was given to you. Okay, now it's important to understand that you can now also edit the indentation of the bullet list. So by doing that, you need to obviously highlight that list, and you'll have to go into paragraph, and let's say you make the hanging at a certain, let's make it 3 centimeters. Okay, now I want you to quickly see the difference. If I say okay, can you see the space between the bullet and the text has become very bigger? It's increased. Now that is what hanging refers to. Hanging refers to the space between your bullet and your text, or your number if you use numbering, and your text. So you need to highlight that in order to change the hanging to the specified one. Okay, then I'm moving over. So that's your paragraph spacing, and obviously that is your tables. Let's just quickly look at, let's say I want this table. Okay, I want that table to be converted. Okay, so I'm going to right click on it and say I want to literally take all of this that's written in the table, and I want to make it I want to change it into text. So you want to basically take the text that's written in the table, and you want to change it into a normal text. Okay, so In order to do that, you need to either you can highlight this. Okay, I'm not sure if it's going to work properly because we are having pictures in here. So let's just come back to the example. I'll come back to this. I'm scared that it's going to now um, scramble up the whole thing. But just remember, you can convert, and I'll get to that now. Okay, then important, if you can just carry, okay, just let's quickly just look at this table. We can obviously format that text into making it left line, right line, etc. You can shade it by using that button and say you want to shade it with a light green or whatever. And then you can also change the text alignment. So quickly look there. If I click on somewhere else, then the table tools disappear. But when I click on the table, okay, there's a table tools that appears, and you can also then change the shading there. And let's say they've asked you to change the text direction, you can go into layout, and you can actually go into text direction and change it in the way that you want it to be changed, if it needs to be vertically centered. Okay, so remember, if something is vertically centered and horizontally centered, then that is the option that you're going to use. Because now, can you see the distance between the vertical line from there to there is the same, and it's also in the center from that vertical line to that vertical line, as well as the horizontal line for both. Okay, and then let's just quickly see what's going to happen. I'm just going to use this because there's not another table. If I'm in the layout, you will see that there's an option to say convert to text. Okay, then normally in a paper we will tell you that please take note that the text is separated by tabs, commas, or other. Okay, let's try tabs and see what's going to happen. Okay, so that's what I was scared for. It will scribble it up. But in the exam, your table will be set in such a way that if you do go into layout and you say convert to text, it will give you the correct one. So if it says please take note that the text is comma separated, then you'll just click that and it will convert it into a nice text. So it will basically take out all of those borders and put it into a text. Okay, and then if you want to adjust, obviously, your row height or your column width, you can obviously do it there. Okay, so just take note, the height and the width, you can change it there. So you literally click on it and you say you want it to be 6 or you want that to be 3. Can you see how it differs in height and width? So that is where you change it. And then let's say you want to insert a picture in here. Let's say this picture was not in here. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go into insert a picture. And then let's just say photo booth and say insert. Can you see? You just need to make it a little bit smaller for it to be in. But you need to make sure that you put your cursor inside that cell before you say insert picture. Okay, and then if we carry on to the last part of your okay, just before we get to that last part, just take note that you can also make sure that this a picture is centered, okay, by going to the format tools, and you can obviously now say the position must be in the center. Okay, so just take note that you obviously also need to make sure that it's in the correct wrapping, which is tight, and then when it's given to you as center or whatever is given to you, then you can do it there by position. Okay, if it still doesn't look right, you can also say align it into center, then it will also create the correct alignment for the picture. Just take note, remember, when you do have to resize a picture, and that goes for all the Microsoft Excel not that we really use pictures in Excel, but in PowerPoint, you will also go into that size of the picture once you're in the format toolbar, and you will lock your aspect ratio so that it will be precisely given to you as, let's say, 4:3. um, let's say I'm asking you to make it 4:3, then you need to make sure you lock it so that it doesn't go and jump over. Okay, so just take note of that setting there. Okay, so let's move on then to the home ribbon. You will see once you're in here, then the other things will become gray, because you can't format a picture with a home ribbon. You need to go into your picture tools in order to, let's say you need a border around it, so you must go through that again for me. Okay, so the last part, we've done the borders and shading of your table. So the last part I'm just going to have a look at is your styles. So let's say I'm asking you to create that top heading there, and I want you to create or to use heading 1. Then if I talk about heading style, you'll do it there. Let's say there's some more heading styles. You also get a book title, you get a strong title, you get a title only. So you must read what is given to you in the examination paper. If they say use the emphasis, you must read the emphasis. If I say use the title, then you must read it off and use that specified one. Okay, so this goes then for Word and the revision about Word. So I'm going to pause here, and then I'm going to create another little video about Excel.